May 7th, 2025. How's it going, guys? Well, I got another video for you. What are we going to talk about? Kansas City and Independence, Missouri. So I got back here from up there at CC's Pizza up there at Liberty. It's a pretty quiet night up at Liberty. Of course, Liberty was patrolling pretty good up there, too. They were patrolling all the way down to 23rd Street here. They were going across. And interesting stuff. So I get back here towards the house tonight. And, oh, well, you know, we can't have a dull moment here in Kansas City, can we? And you know how they just love my driveway. Well, we had another one pull in here. I had to go out there and tell them to get off the driveway. Now, what's interesting here, I'll refresh everybody's memory, or if you haven't seen my videos, I have no trespassing signs. I have no food delivery signs out there. We don't get no food. We go get our own food. We don't need nobody. All these ones that get stoned and everything else on all these drugs and stuff, they can't go get their own food. That's why they're having the food delivered. This isn't about, other things like, like what I was going to say, like old people or something. They can't get their food. These are young people that are stoned and they're half wasted and they have the food delivered to them. That's the thing. So I went back out there tonight. I got to go out the front door. I'll show that just a little partial clip, a couple things that was said. Like, get off my driveway. I own the property. I'm the owner of the property. You've been notified. That's what you need to always tell somebody. If you own your property and you're the owner of that property, you let them know that they've been notified by the owner to stay off your property. I mean, if you talk to a lawyer, you talk to a policeman that knows anything about law, they'll tell you to tell them that. I had to have a couple of policemen over here way back here tell one of the next door neighbors that and to let them know. So then if something bad happens, if they come over and, try to attack you or something, it's noted. They're not supposed to be there. Why does anybody need to be on anybody's property if they don't live there, if they don't own it? Back when I was X generation, and we were always told to stay off people's property. We didn't know the people, not to be on anybody's property, And we were told not to touch anybody's cars either. Down in Texas, there was a lady that got killed. This guy and her boyfriend or whatever come out, and he touched this one car, and this guy got out and he shot both of them. In this day and age, you just don't do that. I was noticing that there's another YouTuber, I'm not affiliated with any of them whatsoever, but Hodge Twins was talking about that. And just like they say, you don't do that. You don't touch somebody. In this day and especially in this day and age, you don't touch anybody's property. And you sure don't go on their land if they own it. I mean, it's just like these lefties here. They just think that, they're the ones that are living 8 or 10 a house here. And they like being bunched up all together like in a pile. And they don't care about anything. They don't own nothing. They don't have nothing. Well, didn't that sound like something before? You're going to not own nothing, have anything, and you're going to like it. Well, that's the left side. Well, I like owning stuff, and I like owning my own property. And, if you want to live with 10 or 12 people your entire life, I guess that's okay. That ain't for me, though. So anyway, I'm going to show this real quick, and I'm just thinking how all this always goes here. But just another day in Kansas City. As one of the mascots that was down here at Doc Holiday's down at the biker deal said, there's older guy down there used to say, just another day in paradise in Kansas City. So hold on, guys. All right, guys. Here we go.
The driveway. Off the driveway.
And that's what was said. And don't get off the driveway. Now hold on. So when I went out the door, this guy was just standing out there by a vehicle in my driveway. It just to aggravate. That's what they do. That's what they try to do. But it's not a good thing. And then this vehicle come back. It was going over here, I guess, next door here. And like I say, I got some big signs that says no food delivery, no trespassing, private driveway. And it was actually, the headlights were facing right up towards that sign even. What a joke. But let's watch this. It went over to this other house. And let's show this real quick. Crazy stuff. I have 6 cameras facing out of my front of my house different ways. You have to anymore. There's another story I'll tell you guys real quick too after I let you guys see this real quick, which, like I say, I was helping my friend out last couple of days on his vehicle. We'll talk about that in a second. I just want you guys to see this truck pull away here afterwards. But it was in my driveway. I always keep my body cam on me at all times anymore, because these people are just real iffy. And you never know. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. So hold on. Okay, guys, I'm back. And what I was going to talk about is it's so bad here in Independence in Kansas City anymore. I mean, people will try to walk up on you and stuff. You have to watch. I mean, most time anymore, I put my vehicles out in back if I'm working here by myself. Make sure that, if they enter the backyard, I hate to fret what might happen to them. They're taking their lives in their own hand then. But on top of that, me and my friend had to go over and get some parts for his vehicle over here in Nolan. And we went down here to this Napa, down here 23rd Nolan Road. And that Sonic, where that guy hit that Sonic and basically died. He hit that, I don't know, it looked like 100 miles an hour when it hit that building. But they got construction guys over there working. And there's a couple construction guys there, but there's a construction guy there, a contractor. He had a big German Shepherd. And he was over there. He had his tools out and stuff. And my friend, he said, well, I wonder why that guy's got that dog over there. I said, well, I can tell you why he's got that dog over there. So somebody approaches onto him, and his tools being laying out over there. And he was using the German Shepherd dog as protection over there. So if somebody walked up, it would bark. And I was thinking, man, he said, oh, I didn't think about that. I said, yeah. I said, I've seen this done before. Some other places I worked at too, some of the guys that I worked with told me some stories you wouldn't believe. I mean, they worked at some apartment complexes here in Kansas City that you couldn't leave nothing in the back of their truck. If you left anything, even if a screwdriver, it'd be gone in like 10 seconds. So that was way back here in Kansas City. So you can imagine now. But I was thinking it was pretty sharp. A German Shepherd just kind of just sitting there, just waiting, watching. But crazy stuff here in Kansas City. But anyway, I noticed today when I went back by there, God, there's a lot of trucks over. Even Independence Power and Light had their vehicle inside that facility. So I don't know. I wonder what's going on over there. Oh, I guess another thing we could talk about real quick too is Cotman Transmission or whatever it was over there off 23rd Nolan. They tore it down. It's gone. But that guy was a pretty good guy. He did a lot of good work for here in Kansas City on transmissions and stuff. And I got thinking about this. They they demolished it, tore it down. I wonder if Independence made them tear it down, because by ordinance they're supposed to, if you don't get rid of something or whatever, they're supposed to level them. But then I get to think, why Independence hasn't leveled Gordman's and Toys R Us up here? Why haven't they leveled those where all this crud and trash is and all these drugs and stuff are? I don't know. That's what don't make sense, And those buildings, oh God, they should be condemned. Like I say, way back just before the cinema closed there, water was coming in through the ceiling. So can you imagine how dangerous and mold and stuff in those old buildings, what would be there? Anyway, guys, just another day here in paradise in Kansas City. And like I say, keep your eyes open and stay safe out there.